Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Yasir and I've been working in UK corporate IT sector for over 10 years. I hold multiple IT certifications that include Microsoft, Cisco, AWS and many more. In this video, I'll show you how to run approval process using Power Automation that can be useful for expense approval, holiday approval, or any similar approval workflow to your manager or HR department. Without wasting time, let's get started. In this exercise, we will create a form, create a SharePoint list, a flow, and then approve and rejection by the manager. Log into your Microsoft account and open forms. The first thing, we'll create a form with a few details. Click new form and type a name for the form. I'll call it expense approval request form 1, and then I'll create a field, call your name, make it mandatory. Second field, expense description, which I'm going to claim to my manager. Third one, I'm gonna call it how much amount in dollar. I will create another field later called comments, but for now that's enough. Now go to SharePoint list and create a new list. I will call the SharePoint list name expense approval request SharePoint list 1. So in this list we will be capturing the form data upon submission. So I'll click create and the list has been created. In this SharePoint list, I will create the same fields as I got in the form previously. Your name, and then the second field is expense description, just like similar in the form in the previous step. And third field gonna be amount in dollar. And I will also create another field here, which is a special field which is not available in the form called choices. Why we need that choices? Because we have three status: pending, rejection, approval. So I will create another column called status with a pending, giving it a color, let's say blue. And then the second status I'm gonna call it approved, give it a green. And third one is rejection, give it a red color. So these are the three actions that will be happening at the end of the form submission. The last field I'm gonna call it comments, just in case. I will also create comment section in the form later on. I'm going to hide title column. We don't need it in this exercise. So the form has been created, SharePoint list has been created. That's the foundation of the whole exercise in this tutorial. Okay, so you can see that there was no comment option in here in the form. So I am creating another category called comments. So now we got 4 fields in the forms and 5 fields in the SharePoint list. So next step, I'm going to create a flow. So I will go select the Power Automation and I will click on create and automated cloud flow. Give flow a name. So I will call it form submission for expense approval request. And I will select the trigger when a new form response is submitted. Click create and I will switch back to the classic view. All right, clicking on the classic view and I will be landing on this page. I will select the form ID, pick up the form which I have earlier created. That will be in the list already. And then the next trigger is get response details. So get response details mean I need to pick up the form detail which I have created earlier and response ID. So the flow will automatically know which form I have selected and which response I have to capture the detail. So next trigger is create item. So upon form submission, the items will be captured into the SharePoint list which we have created in the step 2 earlier. Okay, so pick up the SharePoint site, list name, and then it will automatically show you all the field of the forms like your name, your description, status, comments, amount, dollar value. So everything we have created earlier in the SharePoint list will be populated here, and we have to pick up the field from the dynamic fields, dynamic contents. So as you can see that I have picked up the name, expense description, value, and comments. So next trigger is I have to start the approval process, start and wait for an approval. So because this is a sequential approval, I will there are few other options, but I will pick up sequential approval. So in sequential approval, I have to give it a title. I can write anything here. That will be the title of the approval. When someone will receive the email for approval or rejection, that's the manager. So I will say form submitted by that person, and the amount value is this one. In the approval step, this is the manager's email or the HR email who will be approving that form. Okay, next step, I have to set up a condition if there is a approval, what happened, and if there is a rejection, what happened. So the condition will be I will pick up the outcome of the form, and if that contains approval and that is true, the flow will be moved to the left hand side, which is truthful. Right. Okay. So outcome contains approved, left hand side, update item. Update item means that the data I have captured in the Microsoft form will be captured into the SharePoint list. And again, I have to select the site address, list name, and the dynamic contents. So basically in this step, anything I have put in the form and submitted the form, this will be captured into the SharePoint. In case manager approves the form, pick up the correct fields, your name, expense description, amount, and this, because this is yes and condition is true, so the value should be approved. Next step, I have to send the notification email to the person who submitted the form, or the requester. So for that I have to create another trigger after that, and that is send email. Send email, I will write the email body and the person, and I will send the email to the person who has submitted the form or who's the requester, to notify him whether their request has been approved or rejected, or is in a pending status. So I will type the person email who I want you to be notified about his status of the request. Subject: your expense request has been approved for expense, yeah, whatever is in the form. And then I'll write the email body. So I will pick up the dynamic contents here. So your expense request for whatever is in the form initially, the amount was claimed, has been approved for the amount, and the same amount which was initially the requester has put in the Microsoft form. So that part is completed. Now we will move to the no section, which means if the request has been rejected or the claim has been rejected by the manager or the HR department. Same flow, same steps: site address, list name, response ID. I'll pick up the name. So this name will be coming through from the form. Expense description, amount, status value, and I will call it here rejected, because in the above condition, the manager has rejected the claim. So the flow will go to the right hand side. And now we need to send the email notification to the requester to let them know your request has been rejected. So exactly same, but only change we will make it is here: accepted or rejected. On the left hand side, that means approved. On the right hand side, that means rejected. So that's our whole flow. That is the final stage. We'll save it and it's ready to use. The first time we'll use it as a manually because there is no history. I click test, and then now I have to actually submit a form and need to look into that, how that works. So I'm here to submit a data, my name, expense description, amount in dollar, and comments. Very basic form. So you can expand it according to your requirement. So John Kelly, gym, $50 1 month subscription. He's going to claim to probably HR department or manager. So submit the form. Data will go automatically to the SharePoint list, and flow has been triggered at the backend. So in a second, you will see the data here. Here you go. John Kelly, Jim, 50 pound pending, because the notification has been sent to the manager, and manager either approve or reject, and the status will change in the SharePoint list. So in here, if the manager approve, the requester will be notified and the SharePoint list will be updated. The status in the SharePoint list will be updated automatically. Okay, so yeah, the manager has approved. Now we submit the approver. The manager has submitted the approver. This is the email which requester will see, and the status will be changed here in a second. Pending to approve. Here you go. So the status has been approved and the requester has been notified via email. Now we will resubmit the form and we'll see what happens if the manager reject the form or reject the request. So this time Hannah, food, $100 and work visit. Okay, submit, and the data will go to the SharePoint list. The flow will trigger at the backend, and now it's pending status because the manager has to either reject or approve. So in this case, manager is going to reject the request, and when manager clicks submit, the status will be updated into the SharePoint list and the requester will be notified. Rejected. Yes, here you go. Rejected, and that means the flow is working perfectly fine. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Please do not forget to like, share and subscribe.